Well, good morning, everyone. This is August Rosado with Today in Bible Prophecy Ministries. We want to thank you so much for tuning in this morning. And I know we're about 13 minutes late into the program, but there was a lot of information I had to go over. You know, when you put notes together and things of that sort, it's pretty time consuming. And I just didn't want to leave anything out. I wanted to make sure that I, give you guys the meat of today's study lesson today as we talk about Israelis' call for the rebuilding of a third temple. And I see that people are coming into the room like Christopher Johnson, Deborah Wyatt, Anders Ekman, Brian Mikowitz, I hope I got that right, Mark Burdine, Anthony Parker, Paul Charles, Mark Rhodes, Joshua James Williams, Ron Grossman, Deborah Wyatt. Good to see all of you in the room this morning, and I know that others are going to be coming in, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Kathy Wogan, Kathy, I'll be calling you in a little while, and Jason Stone, Andrea Darlin, thank all of you. I want to thank you all for tuning in this morning. Cynthia Marie Ruffin Childers is here as well, and Leanne Bishop, and again, many are going to be coming into the room. And again, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules this morning to be with us as we look at current world events in light of biblical prophecy. You know, earlier, as I was putting all of this together, my wife was, I guess she was in some room on Facebook. You know, Facebook is like the Roman arena for Christians to battle and bicker and fight and debate and just get pretty much nasty and unchristlike. And, and they were going back and forth over prophecy. There's some crazy stuff, again, flown on Facebook now, about the rising from the dead of a rabbi who died in the early 90s, Menachem Mendel Schneerson. And now, this guy in Milton, Florida, Carl Gallups, is saying that Schneerson's going to rise from the dead. The Jews are going to claim that he's the Messiah, and now he's going to be the Antichrist. And when is this nonsense going to end? I mean, it just, you really get sick and tired of this stuff, folks, And let me just say hi to Gregory Macker, Mark Pitts, Jeremy Hill. Hey, Pastor Joseph Canto, pastor of Victory Chapel in Tiverton, Rhode Island, good friend of mine. Congratulations on their new building that they got. Well, we were just checking out their new building. My daughters attend that church. So it's great to see Joe Canto with us. Aaron, let me make sure I got his last name right here. Aaron Slayton, hope I got that right. Junior Parker from Gulfport, Mississippi. Paul Ducott, Jeff Christian Kaler. Man, you guys are just jam-packing into the room this morning. And again, great to have you all with us. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Now they're saying that Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, and when you go to Israel today, you see his picture all over the place in Israel. And, the guy died in his 90s, but he'd never been to Israel. Not once has he ever been to Israel. But a lot of the ultra-Orthodox Jews in Brooklyn, New York, the Hasidic Jews, and those same guys in Israel claimed that he was a Messiah, but he died in the 90s. And when that happened, the Jews in Brooklyn, New York rioted. They rioted. I mean, it was so bad that riot police were called in. Many ultra-Orthodox Jews were arrested. They were lighting garbage cans on fire in New York, and it was crazy. If you remember that back in the 90s, because their rabbi died, their Messiah died. But the problem with that, when I was witnessing to a Jewish person in Israel, they were telling me that they believe that Menachem Mendel Schneerson was the Messiah, or is the Messiah, even though he's dead, they still believe he's the Messiah. And I said, well, he can't be the Messiah. And he looked at me like all weird, like, why would you say something like that? I said, well, number one, I got to stick with the scriptures. I got to stick with the authority of the Word of God. I said, number one, Menachem Mendel Schneerson never once in all of his life, not once did he ever step foot in Israel. He has never been to Israel. Number two, Menachem Mendel Schneerson was born in Brooklyn of New York. According to Micah chapter 5 verse 2, the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem of Judea. And Schneerson was born in Brooklyn of New York. So therefore that would disqualify him from being the Messiah. Man, that guy looked at me and he just turned around without even saying a word and walked away. Why? Because tradition will send your soul to hell. You've got to go to the Word of God. The Bible has to be our final authority. Not Carl Gallups in Milton, Florida, who is now coming up with this nonsense. You know, he wrote in his last book, The Rabbi Who Found Messiah. And after reading that book, I was appalled. Because he said that Ariel Sharon, before he died, and Ariel Sharon was in a coma for a long time. Ariel Sharon was Israel's prime minister. He was saying that Ariel Sharon was going to wake up from his coma, and Ariel Sharon would be the one that would tell the world who the Messiah would be. Ariel Sharon died. As a matter of fact, some other well-known, I'm not going to mention who he is, some other well-known guy out there who's a Messianic Jew, a Baptist preacher. Him and I got into a debate one time in which he told me in Corpus Christi, Texas. He said, Ariel Sharon is going to wake up from his coma, and Ariel Sharon will be the false prophet of Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. And I looked at this guy and I said, that's not going to happen. He says, oh yeah, it's going to happen. I'm like, it's not going to happen, sir. He says, well, how do you know that? I'm like, he's been in a coma for all these years. And according to the prognosis from the doctors, he's going to pass down the road. He's like, no, God has other plans. I'm like, oh, God has other plans. So God is going to raise this guy to be the false prophet that's going to oppose him. Is that what you're telling me? And he's like, whatever the case is, Ariel Sharon is going to be the false prophet of Revelation 13:11. And guess what, folks? Ariel Sharon died. You know, why is it that Christians always love to jump on the bandwagon when somebody comes up with something new apart from the scriptures? That's what Carl Gallups did. Now Carl Gallups is starting this stuff again about this. Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson is going to rise from the dead. He's been rotting in his grave since the 90s, folks. He ain't rising to nothing. Why is it we got to jump on the bandwagon when it comes to nonsense? I mean, that's the reason why Bible prophecy, folks, has a bad reputation. Christians, yes, Christians are the ones guilty of giving Bible prophecy a bad reputation. Which is the reason why churches don't even want to preach anymore. Because of all this nonsense we see going on in the church. You know, and when pastors call me and they say, well, Brother Rosado, we'd love to have you, but you're not going to tell us Hillary Clinton's the Antichrist, are you? And I got to reassure them, folks, that I'm coming into their church to preach the plain sense interpretation of God's word. That's it. No hype, no drama, no September 23rd nonsense. I had a lady from Colorado. She left me like 3 or 4 messages saying, oh, August, I need your feedback about September 23rd. Oh, are you familiar about September 23rd? Do you know what's going to happen on September 23rd? Oh, you need to go to YouTube, August. You need to check this out on YouTube. Well, let me tell you something. YouTube is not the source of truth. This is the source of truth. God's holy word, the Bible, and the Bible alone is the source of truth, not YouTube. And so I gotta waste my time defending nonsense on Facebook. Not defending it, but exposing it. This YouTube nonsense of September 23rd, of Revelation 12 being fulfilled on September 23rd. You think about this for a moment, folks. This isn't the cults that are doing this. The Mormons are not going out there doing this stuff. The JWs are not out there doing this stuff. It's Christians. that are doing this stuff. You know, and yeah, even though those guys may be a cult, Mormons and JWs, but yeah, they're not out there doing this stuff. It's Christians that are doing this stuff. And yet, my email gets blown up, and my phone gets blown up by Christians who say, oh, August, get ready for September 23rd. Well, that's what they told me about the blood moons. That's what they told me about Jonathan Cahn's Harbingers. That's what they told me about Y2K. That's what they told me about the Mayan 2012 end of the world. Harold Campion's failed rapture dates. When is it going to end? Folks, jump off the bandwagon. Get off of YouTube. Get into this. This right here, and this alone, is the source of truth. This alone, ladies and gentlemen, is absolute. Jesus said in John 17:17, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth, not YouTube. I see that my friend Dr. Andy Woods is in the room with us. Dr. Woods, always a pleasure to see you in the room. And many of you, Ruby Sabilo, Laurie Malis, many of you were in the room today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If I missed you, I apologize. You know, at one time I used to just scroll up and down and see who was in the room, but for some reason Facebook doesn't allow me to do that anymore. Dr. Andy Wood says the best refutation to the September 23rd prediction. Dr. Woods says the best refutation to the September 23rd prediction will be September 24th. I love it. I got, you know, Dr. Woods, if you don't mind, I got to use that, okay? And so, you know, touche, brother. I couldn't have said it any better than that. And so, you know, Kathy Vulcan says the Christians, I believe, are the biggest hypocrites. Well, you know, I heard a preacher say one time, Kathy, you know, one guy's like, I'll never go to church because you guys are full of hypocrites. And the pastor looked at the man and said, we got room for one more. And so, you know, join the club. But, you know, again, and Dr. Woods, that was awesome. But the Bible and not YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, should be the only source of truth. Well, when you have an opportunity, visit my website at todayinbibleprophecy.org. You can sign up for our newsletters while you are there, navigate around the website, check out our bookstore, and you can look at my speaking schedule, see if I'm going to be at a church near you. Now, I know that I will not be on the air Thursday. Friday is iffy right now. But Thursday is going to be a travel day for my wife and I, because we are going to be making our way down to Ohio, where I'm going to be preaching at Grace Baptist Church. Kathy Bogan is a member of that church. She's in the room right now, and she kept on saying, August, you need to get to my church, you need to get to my church, you need to get to my church. And I said, well, you know, let's get in touch with your pastor, see what your pastor has to say about it. And so finally, I got together with her pastor, and he said, yeah, August, he goes, we'd love to have you come on down. You need to straighten all this out. He said there's such a mess out there today in the church in terms of the doctrine of eschatology. And Christians are just flying off the deep end. And we need someone to come in here to give us the plain sense interpretation of God's word. And so they gave me the invitation, and I told them that I would love to come. So I believe Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have a Bible prophecy conference at Grace Baptist Church in Lorain, Ohio. So if you live anywhere in that area, the surrounding areas, come on out and join us, as I will be preaching on current world events in light of biblical prophecy. So I'm looking forward to meeting the pastor, Kathy, and everybody there at Grace Baptist Church in Lorain, Ohio. And then for the majority of the month of August, I'll be preaching at churches all around West Virginia. And so we'll be there in West Virginia for the majority of the time. In August, we'll be coming back to Rhode Island around September 3rd or so. And so I am looking forward to being with all of our friends there in West Virginia, meeting new friends there in Lorraine, Ohio. And so I'm excited about that. And guys, if you'd love to have me come to your church to preach on Israel, Bible prophecy, and current events, all you got to do is just give me a holler. Send me an email. august.todaybibleprophecy@gmail.com. Or you can contact me right here on Facebook Messenger. I would love to come to your church. Hey, you're not going to get hype, drama, or sensationalism. All you're going to get is this, and this alone. When I was preaching in South Dakota a couple of weeks ago, Pastor said, August, let's look at this malarkey. He got his cell phone out. He says, look at this malarkey going on YouTube. He was showing me this round table discussion. These guys were saying, the rabbis are saying Donald Trump is the Messiah. I don't hear the rabbis talking about that. The rabbis are saying Donald Trump is the Messiah, and they're quoting from the Zohar. They're quoting from Kabbalistic sources. They're quoting everything but the scriptures to try to prove their doctrine. Sad, folks, it really is. This is a state of affairs, the state of affairs in the church today. It's a mess. It's an absolute doctrinal mess in the Christian church today. When is it going to end? And Dr. Woods, after September 23rd, I guarantee you, and I said this before and I'll say it again, after September 23rd, somebody's going to go back to the drawing board and try to come up with something new and say, look what's going to happen down the road. And once again, gullible Christians will jump on the bandwagon. It's sad. It really is. I'd like you to take your Bibles and go with me to the book of Revelation, chapter 11. And by the way, guys, I have videos on YouTube. And it's videos of these live streaming. I finally figured out how to put the video on YouTube of the Facebook videos. Because lately I've just been doing the audio of these live video streamings on on YouTube. But now I figured out how to put the video on YouTube. So, after the live streaming, I upload this onto Facebook as well as YouTube. So when you go to YouTube, go to August Rosado, look at all of my video and audio on YouTube, all of my Bible prophecy teaching from Israel, Rome, Petra in southern Jordan, and all these places that will one day play a major role in end-time Bible prophecies. You can go to YouTube and check that out. You can also check me out on the social networks, all of my late-breaking news articles on Twitter, Bible_prophecy, or August Rosado on Twitter. I put all my leading news stories on Twitter. And if you get into LinkedIn, you can find me as Evangelist August Rosado on LinkedIn. But I'd like you to go to Revelation chapter 11, verses 1 and 2. Israelis are calling for the rebuilding of a third Jewish temple. But in Revelation chapter 11, verses 1 and 2, it says this, "And it was given me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city, that will be Jerusalem, shall they tread underfoot 42 months." So Revelation 11, 1 and 2 tells us that there will be a future temple that must stand on the most sacred piece of real estate on earth today. This will be the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And Revelation 11, 1 and 2, along with 3 other passages, tell us that there will be a future third temple. And the preparations are underway for that to happen, folks. And I am going to show you those preparations. I have been to Israel 18 times. My wife and I are leaving there October 22nd. This will be my 19th trip going over there. And I've been to the Temple Institute, and I've talked with people, the leaders of the Temple Institute. I even, a couple of years ago, interviewed the spokesperson for the Sanhedrin on my radio program, and I'll get to that in a few moments. A third temple will stand in the future on the most sacred piece of real estate on earth today. And folks, that is the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. I have been on the Temple Mount many times. The Temple Mount is the site where the past two Jewish temples once stood. We're talking Solomon's temple that stood for 400 years and Herod's temple that stood for 600 years. The site is occupied today by the Islamic shrine of the Dome of the Rock. The Temple Mount, known as the Mountains of Moriah in Genesis chapter number 22. It was also known as the threshing floor of Aruna or Ornan, the Jebusite, in 2 Samuel 24, and Mount Moriah in 2 Chronicles chapter 3 and verse number 1. It is the most hotly contested site in the world today. It was from there Abraham takes Isaac for sacrifice, where David purchases the threshing floor from Ornan the Jebusite, and where Solomon builds the first Jewish temple. We know that Herod expanded the Temple Mount at around 19 BC, which involved 10,000 Jewish workers. When you go under the Temple Mount today through the rabbinic tunnels, they show you a video of how Herod employed those 10,000 workers with hammer and chisel, man, just chiseling away. And you can still see the remains of those Herodian stones. It's like Herod's personal signature on them. It's when you go to the Kotel or the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem today, you can clearly visibly see those Herodian stones. They're very, very unique. The Temple Mount is 36 acres in length, almost the size of 2 football fields, and has an elevation of 2,430 feet above sea level. The Jews call the site in Hebrew Har Harbayit, Hill of the House. The Arabs in Arabic call it Al-Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary. Well, why do they call it the noble sanctuary? Well, because there was a sanctuary that was there. 2 sanctuaries that was there. Solomon's temple and Herod's temple. Folks, the Temple Mount is the holiest site in Judaism, but it's the 3rd holiest site in Islam. Muslims believe that Muhammad took a night journey to heaven on his horse called Buraq from the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. But there is no record of this in the Quran or even in the Hadith, the sayings of Muhammad. When the Crusaders in 1099 AD conquered the city of Jerusalem, and when they saw the Dome of the Rock, they said it was Solomon's temple. Well, that just goes to show you how biblically ignorant they were. And what they did is that the Crusaders placed a cross on the top of the Dome of the Rock. And then they proceeded to kill Jews and Muslims in the city. So you think about that for a moment. Here you have a Christian cross on a Muslim dome, on Roman pillars, on Jewish land. Now, you know, the late Zola Levitt used to say that all the time, and I love it because it is so true. A Christian cross on a Muslim dome, on Roman pillars, on Jewish land. The temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Much of the stones of that destruction can clearly be seen today. But those stones are from the surrounding walls, not from the temple itself. Only the western wall stands today, dating back 2,000 years ago. There are no stones remaining from the second temple today. As a matter of fact, Israeli archaeologist Meir Ben Dov said not one stone of the temple could be found today. Now, he is the archaeologist of the Temple Mount. Archaeologist Meir Ben Dov, very well respected in the archaeological community today. Meir Ben Dov said, you cannot find one trace of the temple today. You cannot find one stone of the temple today. Should this surprise you and I? It shouldn't. Because do you remember what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, verse number 2? And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. You cannot find one trace of the stones from the temple today. Today the Muslims say there never was a temple. Solomon's temple never existed, and Herod's temple never existed. So therefore the Jews and the Christians conspired together to make up the story of the temples. Well, I'm going to refute that right now. Because you see, folks, in a 1924 Islamic Waqf document, the Islamic Waqf are the custodial caretakers of the Temple Mount. They have custodial rights under the auspices of the Jordanian government. The Israeli government has sovereign control over the Temple Mount, but the Waqf, under the auspices of the Jordanian government, have custodial rights to it. In 1924, the Islamic Waqf document clearly stated that there were two temples that stood on the Temple Mount. The Muslim leaders admit, back in 1924, that the Temple Mount site is indeed Jewish. On the fourth, and by the way, you can go to Amazon and order the document called Al-Haram Sharif. And it's probably like 50 pages long or so. It's a little booklet, glossy booklet. And those Muslim caretakers back in 1924 admit that there were two temples that occupied that site. On the fourth page of the historical sketch, the Haram booklet declares, and I quote, the site is one of the oldest in the world. Its sanctity dates from the earliest times. Its identity with Solomon's temple is beyond dispute. This, too, is the spot, according to universal belief, on which David built an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings, and even quote 2 Samuel 24:25. In an Islamic document, they quote 2 Samuel 24:25. I continue. But for the purposes of this guide, which confines itself to the Muslim period, the starting point is the year 637 AD. That's when they constructed the Dome of the Rock. The Waqf continues in the booklet, and I quote, it dates probably as far back as the construction of Solomon's temple. According to Josephus, it was in existence and was used as a place of refuge by the Jews at the time of the conquest of Jerusalem by Titus in 70 AD. So what they're saying in this booklet, these Muslims, is that Solomon's temple stood, Herod's temple stood all the way until the Roman destruction by Titus in the year 70 AD. It's amazing, folks. Early Muslim records identify by the Temple Mount and the Jewish temples on the Mount as an historical fact. But today, the Islamic law denies the existence of the temples as fantasy, pretty much ignoring their counterparts in 1924. Bible prophecy calls for the rebuilding of a third Jewish temple. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem is steamrolling toward this reality, and they are making all the preparations for this to happen. Now, recently, Israelis marched around the Temple Mount during Tisha B'Av, commemorating both temples' destructions. This was reported by Israel Today. They said in the report, government officials in Israel participated in the march. They marched around the Temple Mount, just like Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho. Israeli government officials participated in a march around the Temple Mount, noted that the people of Israel are seeking much more than just the right to pray atop the Muslim-occupied Temple Mount. The Israeli government officials said they want the third temple. And they said this, and I quote, "Everyone who came here tonight proved with his feet that we want the temple back, and quickly," end quote. This came from Deputy Defense Minister Eli Ben-Dahan. Told this to Channel 7 News, Arutz 7 in Israel. What a fascinating development that is, folks. Now, as of last year, the Sanhedrin, which was reformed in 2005 in a ceremony in Tiberias off the shores of the Sea of Galilee, they appointed a rabbi, Rabbi Baruch Kahane, to be the Kohen HaGadol, which is Hebrew for the high priest. They appointed Rabbi Baruch Kahane to be the high priest for the upcoming third Jewish temple. They told him, "We want to appoint you to be the Kohen HaGadol." Now, a few years ago on my radio program, I interviewed Rabbi Hillel Weiss. He is the official spokesperson for the Sanhedrin there in Israel. And this is what he said. And by the way, you can order the CD for me because we recorded the program. And this is what he said. Rabbi Hillel Weiss, the official spokesperson for the Sanhedrin, and I quote, "We do not need a miraculous occurrence like the sudden appearance of a temple descended from heaven onto the Temple Mount to make this decision relevant. The only obstacle preventing the temple service today is a political issue. If that should suddenly change, as it very well could, we would be required to begin the temple service immediately. It is therefore necessary that we have a candidate prepared to fill the role of the high priest, especially now that we have Kohanim prepared to serve in the temple." In other words, folks, they are training 35,000 men to serve as Levites when that third Jewish temple is up and running. That's exactly what Rabbi Hillel Weiss is referring to. Rabbi Israel Ariel, who is the founder of the Temple Institute in Jerusalem, said it was necessary for the Sanhedrin to choose a Kohen HaGadol, or a high priest, to oversee the third temple service. This is what he said, and I quote, "This is certainly something we should do now as religious Jews, choosing a high priest, and all the preparations for the temple service are mitzvahot, which is Hebrew for commandments, that are incumbent upon us according to the Torah," end quote. This is from Rabbi Israel Ariel, the founder of the Temple Institute in Jerusalem. He went on to say this: "It's not a matter of opinion. It is written explicitly in the Torah. And just like any other mitzvah or commandment written in the Torah, we have to choose the Kohen HaGadol and make all the preparations, regardless whether there is a temple standing right now. End quote. Wow. Now, folks, Bible prophecy tells us there will be a future temple standing on the most sacred piece of real estate on earth today, Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Animal sacrifices will be reinstated with the high priest, the Sanhedrin, and the Levites in place. We find 4 passages in Scripture that speak of this future temple. Daniel 9:27, Matthew 24:15, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, and Revelation 11, verses 1 and 2. We know that during the first half of the tribulation period, the Jews will be sacrificing animals in that rebuilt third Jewish temple. But it's only at the midway point of the tribulation period. Antichrist will leave Rome, go to Jerusalem, walk into that temple and put a cessation to animal sacrifices and proclaim to the world that he is God. He will desecrate that temple. That's what Jesus talks about in Matthew 24:15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Jesus is quoting out of Daniel 9:27. When the Antichrist desecrates that third Jewish temple, Paul picks up on this in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. He said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God and that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. He will tell the Jews, enough of the animal sacrifices. Look to me as your Messiah. Look to me as your God and worship me. Well, the Jews, being a monotheistic religion, based on Deuteronomy 6:4, in Hebrew, Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. The Jews will never go for that. They will never accept this Gentile world ruler as God, or as Messiah for that matter. And when that happens, Jesus said in Matthew 24:16, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. The Jews will flee for their very lives. And God has designated an area for these Jews to flee to, a place called Petra. Petra is in the mountains. It's in southern Jordan, over the border of southern Israel. And we know based on Isaiah 16, verses 1 and 4, Isaiah 26:20, Isaiah 63, verses 1 through 6, Revelation 12:6, Revelation 12:14. Petra will be the spot where God will shelter those remaining Jews and will feed them and protect them there for the last half of Daniel's 70th week of prophecy. And of course, Revelation 11, verses 1 and 2. And it was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise, measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread on the foot 42 months. The holy city being Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem, the city of gold. The Gentiles are the heathen, led by the Antichrist, that will trample Jerusalem for the last 42 months, the last 3.5 years of the tribulation period, known in Daniel 7:25 as a times, and a dividing of times, or known in Revelation 12:14 as times, and half a time. That's both a Jewish colloquialism for the last 3.5 years of the tribulation period. This is the temple, the third temple, the future temple, the temple of the Antichrist. And that temple, folks, will have nothing to do with the God of Israel at all. This temple, according to the Temple Institute, what they told me personally, they're at the Temple Institute. That temple could be built within a year. That's exactly what they told me while I was there at the Temple Institute in Jerusalem. So, folks, with the appointment of the Kohen HaGadol, Rabbi Baruch Hahane was appointed to be the high priest to oversee temple operations in Jerusalem. With the rebirth of the Sanhedrin in 2005 on the shores of the Sea of Galilee in Tiberias, and right now with the training of 35,000 young Jewish men as Levites, as well as the breeding of a biblical red heifer. They have a red heifer farm there in Jerusalem, owned by the Temple Institute. They're looking to breed a biblical red heifer. According to the Temple Institute, there were 9 red heifers that were sacrificed in biblical history from the time of Moses to the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in 70 AD. There were only 9 red heifers. According to Maimonides, Moses ben Maimon, or also known as the Rambam, he goes by many different names. He was a rabbinic sage in around the 16th century AD. Maimonides, and by the way, he's buried in Tiberias. Maimonides said that when the 10th red heifer appears, then will be the appearance of the Messiah. And right now, they're looking to breed the 10th biblical red heifer. And that red heifer has to meet all the requirements of Numbers chapter 19. So, folks, with the Kohen HaGadol, the high priest, the Sanhedrin, the Levites, the breeding of a biblical red heifer is setting the stage for Bible prophecy to be fulfilled, which means the rapture of the church could happen at any moment. And that could even be today. You've got to go to Israel, folks. Come with us, Lord willing, next year in March. I'd love to take you. And I'd love to take you to the Temple Institute, where you can see all this stuff unfolding right before your very eyes. Put it in perspective when you go there. So, folks, we bring this broadcast to a close again. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Lisa Roberts, Junior Parker, Sandra Brito, Danny Somerville, Pastor Chris Baker, Janice Waterberger from the left coast of California. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. If you tuned in late, then once I upload this broadcast, just go back to the beginning and watch it over again. And others like Janice, Rip, you just came into the room, but we're just ending the program right now. Guys, just go back to the beginning and watch it. I'll be uploading this video to YouTube. And the audio, all that's going to be uploaded. So go back to the beginning and you can watch this. So, folks, again, visit my website, todayinbibleprophecy.org. Sign up for our newsletters while you're there. Navigate around the website. Check out our bookstore. Look at my speaking schedule. See if I'll be at a church near you. I will not be on the air Thursday, and right now Friday is up in the air. But I will not be on Thursday because it's going to be a travel day for us as we make our way down to Ohio. Lisa Roberts, I would love to come to Ontario. As a matter of fact, I preached in Aurelia, Ontario, Canada for Brother Len Crow and their church out there. And so I'd love to come to Ontario. I mean, Canada's a beautiful country. And I preached there many times. I'd love to go there and preach in Ontario. So talk to your pastor and have him get in touch with me and give us the invite. We'd love to come on down. So again, visit the website, navigate around the website. Folks, if our ministry has been a blessing to you, then please help support our ministry. Others do it at $20 a month. Others periodically or a one-time gift. You can hit the PayPal button at the bottom of the webpage, todayinbibleprophecy.org, and do exactly that. Or you can send your support or any correspondence to Today in Bible Prophecy Ministries, 55 Pleasant Street, Apartment 2, Lincoln, Rhode Island, 02865. So, folks, that's all the time that we have today. I will be back on, Lord willing, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., give or take, Eastern Standard Time. And remember, keep looking up. Jesus is coming soon. And Shalom Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day. God bless.